Hey guys, welcome back to my show, Just Friends with Abdullah, with me, your host Abdullah. Thank you for tuning in again. A new setup, something different. You might have noticed how the surroundings and the environment are looking very different. That's because I'm in a new studio that I've been testing out for the last few weeks, and I've kind of settled on this place that I really, really like. It's quite, feels like a home vibe. Very chilled out, very simple, setup, which I appreciate, and I think it's important just for it to complement my show. I'll still be recording some of my stuff from home, but the majority of my videos, the majority of my content will be recorded from here, and this is kind of my preference. And I hope you guys are just, you like the setting, and it kind of resonates more with you. But on to more important things, and today's topic is a bit of a unique one. It's something that I don't think much people talk about. In fact, they talk about the opposite of this topic, and that is flaws. The question I'm posing today, or the title of the topic I'm posing today, is: does someone really need to work on their flaws? Let me explain. I'm sure you hear it all the time. I'm sure you hear people telling you, you need to fix this, you need to work on that. And they pinpoint out weird things about you, flaws, things that generally that you may be aware of, and sometimes you're not aware of. And you always kind of put in this position where you have to address these flaws and these negative things about you, what people perceive as negative. The question I'm posing today is: do you actually need to work on those flaws? And do you actually need to sit and discuss with yourself what is wrong with you, or what are the things that you're doing wrong? You see, I am not somebody who tries to implement this idea of perfectionism and you are who you are, and whatever rolls with the world, whatever rolls with it, it doesn't really matter. I'm a little bit more objective, pragmatic, and a realist. What I mean is, I think people need to sit back a little bit and think about the things that are being told or shared to them. What do I mean by that? Just because someone said that this is wrong, or something is wrong with you, or this is a flaw, doesn't necessarily automatically mean that it is. It could be a flaw from their perspective, that's fine, but that doesn't mean that it is a flaw in you. It could be a flaw in the environment that they shaped within themselves, and now they're projecting that on you. When you really think about it, who decides what's a flaw? Is it friends? Is it family? Is it the people around you? I think it should be you who decides what's the flaw. However, you need to also be objective about it. What do I mean by that? I mean that you need to understand that if it's something that harms others and that's something that harms you, it's probably a flaw. However, if it's something that people are not comfortable with, or if it's something that people that are not, totally accepting of it, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing or it's a flaw in you. There's a major, major difference in being self-reflective and knowing what are the things that are harming you personally and harming the people that you love around you, and something that might bother people but not necessarily be harmful. Not everything uncomfortable is a flaw, and not everything different is a flaw. And this piggybacks on an important point: the blind self-improvement attitude or behavior. Not every feedback that you receive has to be addressed. You have to distinguish on what are the things, and I know this is hard, by the way. It's not very straightforward. It's not something that can be clicked mentally right away. It's something that you have to sit with yourself and truly understand how it fits in your world. Because people generally will always have feedback on so many different things. And as I said earlier, it is, and I'm going to allude to a bit later, there are many reasons for that kind of feedback or constructive critique. You see, there's something dangerous about having blind self-improvement and implementing every critique that's given to you. You become something that you're not. You develop a personality that is not reflective of who you are. You cannot simply apply every feedback that's given to you. This just doesn't make sense, and honestly speaking, it's just irrational. Sure, you see, this exercise isn't straightforward at all, right? It's something that you have to sit with yourself and understand what are the things that truly you harm, truly that are a flaw, and that are consistent among maybe many people around you. And also you feel in yourself that it's something that you can improve on, right? However, if you apply every feedback that everyone gives you, you don't become you. you become someone totally different. You become someone who is simply pushed around in terms of what people should project as right and wrong in the world. That shouldn't be the case at all. That's something you should avoid completely. Someone's discomfort doesn't automatically mean that there's something wrong with you. It is your job to understand the difference between improving yourself on a sensible and a constructive feedback versus completely changing who you are because every other Joe tells you you're this and you're that. It doesn't work like that. But I think the biggest exercise in all of this is you talking to yourself. And no, I don't mean by being crazy, but I mean by having this conversation of self-awareness and being reflective and not being too defensive, right? You have this conversation with yourself and you ask yourself these questions. Am I hurting people? Am I doing something that is significantly harmful, right? Am I somebody who is causing damage to myself and others? Or is it just not convenient for others, right? And is it an obstacle, right? And it makes them uncomfortable. And what is the degree of them being uncomfortable? Is it uncomfortable, I don't want to be around you? Or is it uncomfortable, I prefer he changes that part about himself? So these are the questions that you probably have to ask yourself to understand whether a flaw should be addressed or not. It's not easy. It's not an easy process at all because you just have to sit and think. And when someone thinks and thinks deeply, you don't want to also jump into the waters of overthinking because you're going to start questioning everything that you do and everything that's about yourself. And nobody wants to deal with this cycle of overthinking and stressing your mind about what's right and what's wrong and what's correct and what's a flaw. Nobody wants to deal with that. It's a headache and it's non-ending. Working on yourself shouldn't mean becoming someone else entirely. And that was kind of my point earlier. You don't want to be the example that people apply on their views of life and what they think is right or wrong. You are who you are. You are a principled person. You have values. You believe in what you believe. Yes, you're not perfect. Yes, you're not absolutely on point with everything that you do. But being perfect, nobody is perfect. Simply, nobody in this world is perfect. But there's always a viewpoint of understanding what are the things that are bothering people about you in a level that is harmful to yourself personally and obviously to the people that you care about and love around you. And it's always good to look at things objectively. If the feedback is consistent across multiple people, across different, facets of life, walks of life, work, friends, whoever, perhaps there could be a point and perhaps that's something you can work on. For example, I've always been told by many people that sometimes I don't read the room too well. So I had to improve on my emotional intelligence. I had to improve on my ability to read the room well, to understand when is the time to make a joke, for example, and when it's time to be serious. And I took that feedback to heart because it's something that I was told by many different people. And I think that's where you have to make that differentiation, like I said earlier. You have to understand who has good intentions towards you, who also cares about your own, self-improvement, and they care about you connecting with people around you that you care about and love, right? That also is part of the equation that you need to consider. Ultimately, not everything needs fixing. And this exercise is not about changing who you are, it's about understanding who you are. And that is key. Understanding what are your personalities, what are your triggers, and what are the things that you can improve on and be better. And like I said, who decides what's a flaw? It depends. It's all about the unique case to case, who knows what you are as a person, what works for you, what applies for you. It's that simple. It's not applicable to everyone. It's not applicable to everything. It's a very situational thing, and it's a very personal thing. So I would like to know also, you guys, your opinion. Do you guys think that every flaw should be addressed? And who do you take feedback from? Perhaps maybe there's a position or there's an angle that you guys thought of that you would like to share with me, and let me know. Give me your thoughts on this. Don't forget to like and subscribe on my show, Just Friends with Abdullah. And I hope I catch you soon. Let me know on the studio and the new setup. What do you think about that?